when I try to understand the perspective of the government trying to get rid of it, I think of it as, okay, if I have myself and then my sworn enemy, U.S. and China, and it's me and my enemy, like, do I want that person being able to influence people within my ecosystem? So, like,
when we talk about the algorithm, it's the number one platform to be able to be discovered on, right? And so you have to look back at the piece of technology and say, okay, if discoverability is so easy, it provides so much opportunity to somebody, what does that say to the other platforms that aren't as discoverable?
Welcome back to another episode of the Mission Control Podcast. I'm your boy Mike Stearns with Ascend Digital Agency. We got Manager John Cater, Creators Den Genius. I mean, I gotta tell you, man of many titles, but a man of few words. Except for today, he's gonna be bringing some heat. Would you agree, sir?
I mean, depending on what we're talking about, I got you.
SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, upholds the ban on TikTok. TikTok's dead. Now what?
I don't think it's dying. Yeah, so we have a partnership with TikTok. Actually, it's one of the most exciting and kind of detrimental things for me right now. Because everybody's like, I'm like, dope. I spent like a really long time trying to cultivate this relationship.
Yeah. And
it's really hard to get in front of decision makers in the fourth largest platform in the world. So for me, I was like, okay, cool. I met, his name is Steven. He's the head of TikTok Live. And he heard that we do studios based off of just like an introduction. And they had this whole plan for rolling out like TikTok Live studios.
Yeah.
Because in China right now, 90% of people on the platform are going live and only about 10% of them are posting to the platform. What they're trying to do in the US is flip that, because in the US, 80 to 90% of people are posting on the timeline and only about 10 to 20% are going live.
Mm-hmm.
So when, we initially connected with one another, he's like, hey, we want to give creators better live setups to go live and replicate the things that we're doing in China.
Yeah. So
I'm like, okay, cool. We can do that. And so we ran this pilot. I had multiple meetings where I was going into TikTok and trying to, it's funny because like the things that you learn in like medium to small business, some of them apply, but some of them get thrown out of the window because there's so many levels of that you have to go through. And I just was constantly going back and forth to these meetings in TikTok, and I was hyped to finally make an announcement and to do the pilot. And then like the ban started getting talked about more and more and more, and it was like a thing that wasn't going away.
Yeah.
And so we're like in the middle of like rolling out this whole program, and TikTok is like on the verge of losing its platform because of some of the Supreme Court decisions.
I can imagine it goes away. If somebody else buys it, there's a transfer of ownership of some sort. I mean, it's huge, right? I think it would be really, my mind would be blown if that actually happened and TikTok just vanished.
It's the fourth largest platform in the world.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, 170 million users, 7 million businesses. The last girl that we set up for TikTok Live for the pilot program, she had her first month, like the previous month, she was able to get $200,000 off of streaming live. Like that's money that's like 3 incomes within 1 month.
Yeah, it's interesting. I also saw something today on LinkedIn, somebody who was very upset about it for creators because they broke down the dollars per view, and essentially it's 10x on TikTok of what it is on Instagram and Facebook. So.
Yeah, and like the thing is like TikTok is investing into their creators, right? And so like they would invest into these sets so that these creators would be able to have better live performing sets.
But it makes sense that they would, because they're stealing all of our data.
Yeah, but like I don't know what TikTok's doing with. I don't necessarily care what TikTok's doing with my data as long as the invoices fucking.
Everybody's stealing our data, just so we're all on the same page.
No, but they're afraid. So they're afraid that essentially China would require TikTok to surrender their data, right? And so it's more of like it's less of like what TikTok is actually doing and more of a fear of what could happen with TikTok. So they're making these decisions. Plus, I think that the person who was, at that point in time that passed that ban, like, I mean, there's constant memes of him going around where he's just like not really comprehensive with what he's talking about. And don't get me wrong, I have no idea how to lead a nation, but I also think that there can't just be one solution, which is to get rid of it altogether.
Right. Like, well, I've heard people argue like, okay, it's not the government's place to say that people can't do this, but on the other side of it, I could certainly see the concern of a very large country and one that the diplomatic relationships haven't been the strongest and the most positive throughout the years, giving them insight and access and control to some degree by how they're running their algorithm and what they're putting in front of our kids, and kids are very impressionable and those kids will become adults. I can see the concern.
You know what the worst thing about that is, though, is when we talk about the algorithm, it's the number one platform to be able to be discovered on, right? And so you have to look back at the piece of technology and say, okay, if discoverability is so easy, it provides so much opportunity to somebody, what does that say to the other platforms that aren't as discoverable? Like for a creator or a business owner's opportunity that aren't as discoverable. It poses a threat. So if you get rid of TikTok, it's almost like a monopoly starts to form within these other platforms. So there was
somebody built a TikTok in the U.S. Call it Hickok.
I mean that
you do it.
Listen. I build studios, bro.
Studios.
Look, when they come,
I don't give a fuck where you put your content. Put that shit on MySpace, but you're gonna have the sickest setup on MySpace.
100%.
Yeah.
But that being said, if you're looking at something as a threat because it's discoverability, you have to also say like, okay, the information. I also think there's a level of gatekeeping from getting rid of TikTok from the rest of the world. Look at all the things that have not only happened within the U.S., but internationally that people within the U.S. have been made aware of. Like, though, like, you and I don't really, I don't know if you do as much, but, like, resonate with Palestine and Israel, the things that are happening. But the amount of information that's been transferred from there to here is substantial, whereas every other platform gatekeeped it, right? So I look at that and I go, okay, if they're willing to get rid of a platform that's willing to like expose and like reveal and make things so discoverable to find, obviously you have to do discretion with the information you take in. But if it's never there to begin with because the platform can make the decision of whether or not this is good information or not, it's like a, what would you call it? Like a Big Brother thing? Or like not Big Brother, like Uncle Sam. It's like, I don't know. I just think there's a lot of benefit to getting, I think there's a lot of benefit for government to get rid of things that have a lot of power.
When I try to understand the perspective of the government trying to get rid of it, I think of it as, okay, if I have myself and then my sworn enemy, U.S. and China. And it's me and my enemy. Like, do I want that person being able to influence people within my ecosystem? So, like, my kids, my family, my friends. Because if you run, like, a long-term psyop, like, and I mean, I forget, I was listening to Rogan. He had a guy on, and he said, dude, Rogan, he's fucking... Some of the stuff is amazing. Some of the shit is just like, But he was talking about like a former KGB officer that he had on, where he was talking about the progression of like multi-decade psyop that they would run on the U.S. And I don't know if it's complete bullshit or not. It was interesting nonetheless. But like that's how this would be a perfect platform for that, something like that to manifest. Yeah, and I'm not saying it would or wouldn't. I'm not saying it's not complete bullshit or it is, but I can understand that side of it. And I can also understand the other side of it. Here's what I know. I'm finally getting traction on TikTok. We got a couple thousand followers. Our average views per video is up to like 800. We got a few million view ones, 17, 50,000, 100,000. So
you guys consistently crush it on TikTok.
Yeah.
But here's the thing is like, you have good information. So just as much as like outside sources can influence like how we were just breaking that down with, so can you. You know what I mean? Like the discoverability for small business owners has taken someone from that zero to like making it possible for them to sell products. Like TikTok Shop is just short of where Amazon is just short of like growing into where Amazon's going to be. TikTok Shop, what TikTok was going to do and still is potentially going to do is buy warehouses where the bottom floor is administrative, the second floor is content creation, and then the third floor is fulfillment. And so now what you can do is the same thing that Amazon is doing, to where like your products that you're selling in your businesses, like they're going to have like one-stop shop storage for these platforms.
Yeah.
And so if you're selling on TikTok Shop, I know people easily making anywhere from like 10 to 30 grand like per month just off a TikTok Shop, affiliate linking things. And so if regular people can do that, businesses can do that. Like that's, I don't know. It's a tool that can really change people. You know what? As a matter of fact, seeing because we're talking about discoverability, you know who I saw recently is SB Mowing. He's literally just a landscaper. And one of the videos that really popped off on TikTok was a video that he completely transformed. This little old lady, she's probably like 80 years old. She can't really do a whole lot of things. He shot a video to where he completely transformed her landscaping to things that she couldn't do. And he's up to 11 million followers on TikTok. That's a mowing company. I can guarantee you that anybody within his area is looking for SB Mowing, and he's going to be able to franchise and have opportunity, because even if he captures 1% of that, or less than 1% of that, like the ability for a small business owner to succeed is massive. Mm-hmm. So I think that TikTok like factors that in when, during all this ban, and like looking at some of the initiatives that they have rolling out based off of the conversations that we've had. Like everybody has seemed like really confident that it's going to stay. It's because of the impact that they make.
Mr. B said he talked to a bunch of billionaires about buying it.
Yeah. And then afterwards, he said he's going to give it away to one lucky subscriber.
Smash that subscribe button. So let's assume it goes away. Worst case scenario, it's gone.
Yeah.
Gone forever. What is it, a couple days?
Yeah.
Something like that. Then what? Everyone migrates over. Like those content creators, where are they going to publish their content? It's going to be, assuming, the Instagram Shorts, YouTube Shorts.
I don't think so. I
No?
think they're gonna. I think they're either gonna migrate to RedNote or Lemonade. So those are also two other Chinese-owned companies. So they're just moving from one platform to a different one that has the same type of discoverability. The thing is like creators. So when we were setting up these creators for the pilot program, one of the biggest things that I noticed was that a lot of them really depended on live. There was a girl here that had her first $5,000 month. That was after TikTok took their percentage. She still had a $5,000 month just by going live. And then the top one earned $200,000 per month. Every single one of them, I talked to them. I said, like, what are you going to do to like mold yourself as a creator? Because you can't just live on one platform. Live should. And mind you, I talked to even the corporate team about this. Is like, guys, I understand we love live, but we have to start growing and molding creators to be able to have a diverse portfolio in their content creation. And then live should be one of the strongest pillars that they utilize. Because what's happening is you're breeding live creators, but you're not breeding well-rounded creators. And so for me, every single person that I talked to within the pilot program, I was like, what's the next step? And we started doing like a little bit of leadership through that of like, what's after this? How do you plan on growing as a creator? Because even if you look at Mr. Beast, you look at KSI, you look at Logan Paul, You look at these top tier creators, you know what they're doing? They move into products. They move into an infrastructure that's outside of their content creation. So you have like Prime that comes out. You have Beast. Feastables? I almost call them Beastables.
I don't know.
But you have all these products that are coming out.
I see the candy bars, where the fuck they are at the store.
They're everywhere. Yeah. And then even more so is like Mr. Beast gets into releasing one of the
Mr. Beats. I like that one. I'm going to be Mr. Beats.
No, he goes and he ends up releasing one of the top viewed Prime show. It was just like a game show. So I think diversity is everything for creators. I think it's also extremely important in your media for small business owners to be diverse. I agree that certain verticals can be stronger than others. But I think when you look at your brand and the things that you've done, you've gotten hundreds of thousands of views through YouTube. You've also been able to do the same thing through TikTok.
It's over 1 million.
And now you're also in the same position for Facebook. So you've accumulated audiences in all pockets and all decision makers. There's comments in the comment sections of these things. They're not just viewers. They're people that are commenting and that you're able to engage with. Mm-hmm. So you as a business owner, you're able to really capture that audience and now give them an offer, give them a product, which is like, whether it's business consulting or it's digital media strategies and fulfillment, like you're able to reach like a whole wider circle than just your 5 mile famous, because like you can be 500 mile famous, and if you capture percentage,
why not be 5 million mile famous?
Why not? No, I definitely
to the cosmos, baby.
I think the more people know about you, the easier it is to do business, and the better numbers you have to work with.
Yeah.
Right?
Plant more seeds.
What has been your experience so far with not just TikTok as a platform, but overall doing media as long and as consistent as you have?
I love it, and it's fucking annoying sometimes. It's annoying when you put a lot of time, energy, and effort. Like I got a notes tab or notepad on my phone, just like everyone else. And I mean, this thing you scroll forever. It's all these things that pop into my head. Whether it's I'm waking up panic stricken in the middle of the night, checking my email. I'm like, I should write a piece of content about this, or in the sauna at the gym, wherever. I'm always writing shit down. And then I told Christian the other day, he's my producer and editor. I was like, the ones that I feel are gonna be most impactful to people, fucking 131 views. Yeah. And then one where I'm like, 779,000 views, 7,000 shares, favorites, comments. It's like, so like that's the frustrating part. So, trying to figure out a way. If it helped me substantially, it would help other people substantially, right? It's like I tell my contractors, if a homeowner is asking you a question in the point of sale, make a piece of content about that, because they're not the only homeowner that's fucking wondering. And maybe they're the only one asking, but other people wondered. And I bet if you look back and you talk to your salespeople, a lot of people have asked that same question. So I'm like, how do I take that piece of content and repackage it? Take a different approach, use different keywords, whatever, so that a larger audience sees it. That's the frustrating part. But like, all in all, like I like it a lot. We've gotten deals from it. The most frequent isn't like, hey, I saw this video, can I buy from you? It's I've been watching your content for years. Yeah. So we have that trust and authority. Yeah, we have that trust and authority to where, I mean, we're running down the court on a fast break. It's a clear path. And you know what? If we miss a fucking layup, that's on us. It's our layup to blow. Yeah. Nobody's coming from behind us and pinning it like LeBron did Draymond back in the finals like 7 years ago. I think it was. Christian, show that fucking clip. And fact check it before you do.
Run it, Christian.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. It's been impactful for our business for sure. And it's always nice, too, when people have questions and they're like, oh, well, what is it? Yeah. It's a really good question. A lot of our smartest, prospects ask that question. Here, watch this video.
Yeah. I know a lot of times, even just talking with Christian about looking at your metrics, the ones that perform the most are the ones that have kind of a negative, I call them negative hooks.
Yeah.
They're like negative hook headlines.
Yeah.
So like it gets the person watching, and then once they watch it, actually your first video that I think we really looked at was the one with Corey Combs, where he was talking about an AC unit, fell?
Yeah. Well, no,
or shingles fell off onto it and destroyed an AC unit, and they ended up paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a negative hook, but then there was a positive outcome that reflects Corey's brand. That was good.
Yeah.
So like, I think if anybody can take away from that piece of content, it's what I just told you, is like the packaging, delivering it.
Right.
Because a lot of people think that you have to create a million different videos. You might have a handful of videos that you already did, and you just have to like re-deliver them differently.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
If you got 3 videos, technically you probably got 9.
Sure.
Right. So I think that's a big takeaway that a lot of people can use for their content, and especially with the virality that TikTok has provided and stuff. So
we'll see. Time will tell.
Time will tell.
We won't need to linger in suspense for much longer, because it's going to happen or it's not.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm patiently waiting for a track to explode on. No, I'm sorry. That's 50 Cent, not TikTok.
I would have loved for it to go on public, and like
sure,
Boston equity in that bit.
I mean, there's still time.
Yeah.
A lot of things can happen. You never know. So we wait. We be patient. Thank you all for tuning in.
What are your last thoughts?
Hold on, we got more.
What are your?
But wait, there's more.
What are your thoughts on, if it doesn't get banned, the type of action that people should take on the platform?
I think if you, at the most fundamental aspect of marketing, advertising is awareness, eyeballs, right? And if you have people that are now or might in the future be on TikTok, which you probably do, you should put content there. Like, why wouldn't you? You stand to lose nothing, gain everything. Because if you're already in the trenches of creating content, what do you have to do to cross post that to one more platform, right? And maybe do some tweaks on the edits and things like that to make it more, I guess, feel more native to the TikTok app, as opposed to just throwing it in from somewhere else. But I mean, that's not a considerable amount of work that you're doing. Why wouldn't you? Would be my question.
Yeah.
Create videos, but put out damn videos that are going to help your customers, and I promise you, it'll help your business.
Right.
I tell people all the time, just do it.
Just do it. Do it and then learn it.
Do it, learn more, do more. Be better. Be better. So, thank you for everybody here today. Thank you for the team at Roofer for help making this happen. Thank you to John, man, the myth, the legend. We're out here in Detroit. We're going to go get some food, hang out a little bit, decompress, and man, it's always a pleasure. Thanks. Dude, I'm grateful, all right? I just want to let you know I'm grateful.
Dude, I'm grateful for you, bro.
Yeah, man. Fuck yeah, let's get it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.